highly skilled personnel. Accretion is another strategic pillar for us to make steady, continuous gains. Risk influences all our decisions to safeguard the interests of our stakeholders. Timeliness is religiously followed for us to position ourselves to react efficiently to emerging trends and market opportunities. Longevity is ingrained in our investments to build lasting, controlled growth and prosperity. Yielding a maximum return on investment for our stakeholders is at the core of our strategy. At ZCCM Investment Holdings, we're building a bright and prosperous future, locally and globally.
You are now listening to Mining Corner on ZNBC Radio 2. Join me for the next 50 minutes or so as we look at another interesting topic. This is program 9 in the series of 13. Now, on this program, we focus on the operations of ZCCM IH Investment Holdings and its partners. Today, we are discussing supply chain in Zambia's mining sector. My name is Kumbuso Banda. Also, be on the lookout for the quiz that will give you an opportunity to win exciting prizes. And we also have mining news coming up a little later on the program. Now, remember, this program is interactive, so you'll be able to call us on the number that I'll be giving out very, very shortly. All right, so we do have some guests joining us today to discuss this very important topic. We do have Mr. Costa Mwaba, who is joining us via WhatsApp from the Copperbelt. He is the president of the Association of Mine Suppliers and Contractors in Zambia. Thank you so much for joining us, and good afternoon, Mr. Mwaba.
Good afternoon, Kumbuso, and good afternoon, listeners.
All right. Also joining us in the studio of ZNBC is Richard Zulu, Communication, Marketing and Public Relations Lead, Zambia Association of Manufacturers. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Kumbuso, and good afternoon to all the listeners out there.
All right, it's good to have my guests joining us today. And like we did mention, we do have a topic at hand, which is supply chain in Zambia's mining sector. So let's get to, of course, the discussion. And we'll begin with, of course, looking at what we'll be focusing on today: opportunities for local businesses, challenges in supplying mines, and government and private sector support. Let me get to my first guest, Mr. Zulu, who is in the studios of ZNBC. How can Zambian manufacturers tap into supply opportunities within the mining sector, and what product categories show the most potential for local production?
Thank you so much for that question. I think to begin with, I'll provide just a brief introduction of who ZAM is, what we do, so that people can understand the context from which we're coming from. So basically, Zambia Association of Manufacturers, short for ZAM, is a private sector association that represents the interests of Zambian manufacturers here in Zambia. And we do so by providing different policy advocacy initiatives, business linkages to our members, capacity building, and information dissemination. So that's a brief introduction about who ZAM is. Now, to the question that you have provided to us. For us first to identify how manufacturers can tap into the supply opportunities within the the mining sector, we need first to quantify what we mean by opportunities in the mining sector. Firstly, it's crucial to understand that Zambia's mining sector currently spends about 2 to 4 billion US dollars annually on goods and services. So this number for us, the one that is of interest to us, is of that amount that they are spending, how much of it is actually spent on local suppliers? By local suppliers, we mean local, indigenous Zambian businesses.
Okay.
And from our research, we've established that about 10 to 13% only is spent on local suppliers. And for us, this is not a problem, but rather it's a massive opportunity, because like we've mentioned, the spend on goods and services is about 2 to 4 billion US dollars. And for us, we see that as an opportunity. And we see it as an opportunity for the proudly Zambian goods and services that we can provide in that spend that they have. And to go to the product categories that show the most potential for local production, I can categorize them in different categories. We can start with the engineering products.
Okay.
So our local suppliers and manufacturers are able to do different engineering products such as mill bores, valves, nuts and bolts, and castings. All these that are used in different mining setups.
All right.
The other category that I can highlight is that of electrical components. We have local manufacturers who are able to manufacture transformers locally, insulators, and when even the cables that are used for different electrical components. All that shows that we have the capacity to do that.
All right.
Another area that we have the opportunity to produce products locally is chemicals and reagents. So things like ammonium nitrate, feedstock, which is the feedstock for the explosives that are used in the mines, and various reagents that are used in the production process of the different minerals that we have here in Zambia. All those chemicals can be produced locally, and we see that as an opportunity for local content here in our mining sector. Another thing is the everyday industrial wear that we see. The PPEs, the personal protective equipment that people wear, the work suits, the safety shoes. We don't see why the mining sector should be importing safety shoes when we have local manufacturers who have the capacity to fulfill the need of the mines when it comes to safety shoes.
Okay.
Whether be it in quantity, in quality, we have manufacturers who are able to deliver in that aspect. When it comes to the workwear itself, we do have those. And also different specialized plastics and rubbers, be it polyurethane that are used as linings, different hoses, gaskets that are used in the mining sector. We have an opportunity for manufacturers to produce locally, and the mines can find those things here in Zambia.
All right, we'll get more into details as you break down some of the things that our own local producers are able to do and how they can tap into the mining sector to be suppliers and, of course, be engaged as contractors as well. Let me remind our listener that we do have, of course, joining us via telephone, Mr. Costa Mwaba. He's on a WhatsApp call, and he's the president of the Association of Mine Suppliers and Contractors in Zambia. Now, let's first begin, Mr. Mwaba, by you just briefly telling us more about your association.
Okay, so basically our association focuses more on the mining sector. We have members that are involved into mining, which is the actual mining, primary and secondary development, support services, long-haul drilling. The list is endless. Then we have got suppliers that fit into the whole value chain, from the processing into the mining input, transportation, up to the end of the cycle of the mining. So all these are members that we have belonging to our association, and some of them obviously cut in between ZAM and ourselves. And this is why, for example, we collaborate with ZAM on matters of common interest. Like given the background that he was giving, it covers all of us. You can find that the mines are trading to a tune of $4 billion, and only $4 million is what is going around in terms of Zambian suppliers and contractors benefiting.
Okay.
So we have expertise to that extent.
So, what are you tapping into now as an association? Just to give an idea to the listeners, what are you able to supply? And I know that it's still low, going by the amount involved and how much is available for local suppliers and contractors. But what if you were to quantify it on a scale or 100, give it 100%? Where are you exactly?
Yeah, so basically our members are tapping into almost every area of the mine's operations. If you are talking about mine development, we have contractors that are working with the respective investments in Zambia. Mopani, KCM, Lumwana, Kalumbila, Luvambe, and so on. We have contractors that have been contracted to do the primary, secondary development, support services, labor, and so on. So they are participating there. If you talk about processing plants, we've got suppliers, again, who are participating in these processing plants. Now, in terms of quantifying to say out of 100 where we are. We can say we are hovering around 30, okay, out of 100, 30%. 70 obviously is being outsourced, you know.
All right. How is this limiting your capacity or your capabilities as local suppliers and contractors? And why do you think this is the case? Why do we have a smaller percentage in terms of money only going to local mine suppliers and contractors?
Again, Kumbuso, this is goes to the national strategy. It goes to the investment strategy. One of the things, obviously, we commend ZSMYH, even for speaking out in terms of reaching out to strategic stakeholders like ourselves and ZAM, because this is the starting point in terms of how we are going to unlock value and reach to the potential that we want to reach to, okay, where we can have courage to say, let's tap into the other stakeholders, let's get their experience, let's understand what they are going through and why such a thing is happening. Now, I'll tell you, it's important that we talk about a bit of history. The mines before were being run by ZCCM. ZCM used to do almost everything, and that time we had very few contractors participating in the mining sector. Now, when the mines were sold, obviously the new investors came up with a strategy of saying there are certain things that they will not do. They would subcontract those services. That is how a number of our members came about to do the services that the mines would say they will not do. Now, along the way, the investor again realized that there's so much money that is remaining in country, okay, because you find that Mopani would have maybe 26 Zambian contractors doing all the works. You know, that means they will go to the bank, get equipment, and so on and so forth. So along the way, they had to change a strategy to say, no, why don't we have these services being done by maybe our colleagues, for example, and they would go to South Africa or different nations and bring contractors to come and do those services because it became beneficial. And that is where we lost an opportunity as the Zambian government and as a voice. Because at that point, we should have said, no, these services like subcontracting should be a preserve of Zambian contractors and Zambian suppliers.
Okay.
By now, Kumbuso, we could have developed a supplier base, we could have developed a contractor base where we could have not even been talking about any contractor coming from whether Peru or China, India, or anywhere to come and do mining development in Zambia.
So you're saying you would have been somewhere far as local contractors and mine suppliers if certain things were put in place. Would you kindly share with us what the situation now is on the ground, or what the situation is like on the ground? Is it favorable? And how, if all these things are put in place, the issues that you've raised, how long do we actually see the local contractors and mine suppliers start to get the full benefits?
Okay, so one of the things that should be done, like where we are, Zambian contractors are no longer attractive to the mines for a simple reason. We are not a manufacturing country. We are an importing country. So just based on that, if an investor is going to come to me, who is a local contractor, he's going to pay the cost of transporting the goods, he's going to pay the cost of excise duty and so on and so forth for me to bring such an item to the mine gate. Now, if he goes to a foreign company, for example, the foreign company will deliver the goods either in South Africa or wherever, and then there are companies who ship those goods to their gate. Now, the mines have got certain incentives that make these products cheaper for them. You know, they can bring, for example, an equipment that will be duty-free. Now, me, if I'm going to bring that, I'll have to write for exemptions and so on and so forth, and they will think that it will be difficult. And because it will be difficult, they would rather get themselves, they already got these exemptions, and they'll bring this mining equipment, they'll come and do it. They'll bring these input products into their processing plants and so on and so forth easily, or using the manufacturers. Because if they go to a manufacturer in China, he's going to charge them X stock maybe minus 35%. Now, if they come to me, I'm going to charge them plus 50 of the product.
Yeah.
Okay, so meaning that product, I'm going to add 50% more, which
get
will
some
cover
profit.
Exactly. So that is where now we have lost an opportunity. And then what is our manufacturing tax rate? We are charging 25%. And what is the excise duty of me bringing things is 10 to 15%. So it takes away that opportunity for us to encourage manufacturing, because it's more expensive to manufacture and supply to the mines than it is to lift and dump. Okay. So if we want to go forward as a nation, we need to resolve to say, let's be deliberate in terms of now empowering Zambian suppliers and contractors, because we have already known, studies by World Bank and whoever have reviewed that the mines spend about $4 billion on average annually. This is not in 5 years, no, annually. So 5 years, 4 multiplied by that is $20 billion is spent on these mines investment. And what do we get as a country?
4 million.
So we should be able to say also, we should be also able to say, in the next 5 years, how many millionaires are we going to grow from the processing plants, from the mining plants, and then ZCCM being a strategic institution, a strategic investment holding.
Okay.
There is also an opportunity in terms of exploration. Buying equipment for exploration is quite expensive, and it's an area where we are lagging behind. So ZCCM should be focusing in that area. They get equipment, get you into these strategic alliances with local people and expert labor. We do some explorations, develop bankable documents, and begin to compare, because the challenge that we have up to now, we do not have a national asset that we can compare with in terms of production cost and in terms of empowering Zambians. We are all dependent on these mining houses. We are all dependent on this foreign capital.
Okay, Mr. Mwaba, we'll get back to you, but of course you are joining us via telephone. Just hold on there. And that was Mr. Costa Mwaba, who is the president from the Association of Mine Suppliers and Contractors in Zambia. He's joining us from the Copper Belt, and we do have Mr. Richard Zulu, Communication, Marketing and Public Relations Lead, Zambia Association of Manufacturers. You can call us and be part of the show. The number is 0770-347-221. Today, we are focusing on supply chain in Zambia's mining sector. He has said a lot of things regarding the challenges that they are facing. And you, as an association, you, of course, have notably talked about the capacity that Zambians have, but there is also the issue of what is actually happening policy-wise and what is happening on the ground. He says we are not a manufacturing country. That is what he said. How do we get to be a manufacturing country? And maybe perhaps you can also answer to some of those challenges that he raised and where you feel you can come in as ZAM to ensure that the mine suppliers and contractors are given their fair share of business from the mines.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I do appreciate he's highlighted quite a number of barriers, which we are very cognizant too. And we've also noticed the barriers that he has highlighted. So I think I can categorize them in 3 areas from the way that he's explained it. So there's the financial aspect of it. So there's working capital and access to finance. He did mention that you'd notice that different mine contractors would have opportunities. Yes, he mentioned that different mine suppliers would have opportunities in the mine to supply, but then they do not have the capital to do so. So this need for huge upfront capital has proved to be a huge barrier for the various local suppliers that we have. And then even now, the access to finance. When you notice that you don't have that finance, one of the options that people have is to get a loan. But if you look at
the loans have high interest rates.
Exactly. We are averaging as high as 28%. And this basically is just a death trap for the different local mine suppliers and contractors. So with that kind of environment, you find that even different manufacturers that had the opportunity to do this and maybe got a loan have ended up losing some of their properties and assets due to such hard business environment.
Okay.
And then there's the aspect of the unlevel playing field, which he highlighted. The industry is dominated by what we call tier one suppliers, or the original equipment manufacturers that are in the mining playing field. These usually have long-term existing relationships with the mines that we have, who you may be aware most of them are foreign nationals, and they have their global headquarters in different countries. So from a global perspective, they've already built these relationships with the OEMs. By the time they get to Zambia, they already have these relationships such that when a local wants to go, somebody in the tier one space already has that. And that's a space that we've been trying to get into to ensure that there's fair competition within the mining space.
Okay.
And then there are also discriminatory practices where we've noticed to say those same tier one contractors or foreign nationals that are working with the mines would get favorable preferences. But when a local supplier is supplying the same product or service that a foreign national or tier one supplier is supplying, you'll find that the local supplier will be given different terms, maybe payment terms, the terms of service are different, which in some cases have proven to be unfavorable.
And sometimes
to the
we've
local
heard
suppliers.
of local suppliers, it takes very long for them to get their monies.
Exactly.
And they have employees to pay, and they have all these contractual obligations. This must make Mr. Mwaba's job very, very difficult indeed.
Yeah, because we also touch on the high input costs, which like you mentioned, we are not predominantly manufacturing. Manufacturing currently just contributes about 9.2% of Zambia's GDP. But we had a time where we were contributing more than that, which shows that we have the ability to be a manufacturing nation, because there was a time when we were contributing about 30% of total GDP. So because of the happenings in the business environment, manufacturing has gone down.
We hear this thing about potential. We have the potential. I've been hearing the word potential in manufacturing for a very long time. What is stopping us in most cases?
Sometimes there are several aspects that may affect the business environment. Like currently, the manufacturing sector is grappling with inconsistent energy supply. That's a huge input in the production process of any manufacturer. We just in the recent past, we had a huge instability in our exchange rate. All these factors would affect how the manufacturing sector performs. And also, there are certain policies that would come which would disrupt certain sectors. So the policy that is unfavorable for certain sectors would lead the entire manufacturing as a whole to have some form of negative growth there.
Okay. Let me invite our listeners to participate. The number is 07703-47221. Call us and be part of the program, or you can text us using the same number on WhatsApp, and we'll be glad to hear from you. Today, we have the president of the Association of Mine Suppliers and Contractors in Zambia joining us via telephone. This is Mr. Costa Mwaba. We also have Richard Zulu, Communication, Marketing and Public Relations Lead, Zambia Association of Manufacturers. Let's get our first call. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, please kindly turn down the volume on your radio set. Okay. That's the first thing you do. Please, when you call us, we'll have that feedback. So when you call, ensure that your radio set is either far away from you or the volume is very, very low so that we do not get feedback. It's 0770-347-221. That's the number that you are using. So, Mr. Mwaba, so we've all agreed that indeed the local mine suppliers and contractors have a lot of hurdles or hoops to jump through. From the manufacturing end, we've heard of a lot of issues that they are grappling with, and I'm sure you yourselves, you've noticed these issues as well. There's the issue of unsustainable business practices, predatory business practices, preferences by some mines to deal with the same people, and all those issues that Mr. Zulu mentioned. Before I get to the next question, let's see if we can bring in a call on the program. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name and where you're calling us. I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Yes. Fine. Good afternoon.
Yes,
That's Radio 2 ZNBC?
Yes, it is. Your name, sir, and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, this is Mr. Gesho Mumutonda. I'm calling you from Kawambwa.
Go ahead,
Center
Mr.
for
Sonda.
Elections and Governance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but these suppliers and manufacturers, what is their take in the current mining policy? Because the issue of changing the government is to improve things like policies. And we are aware that the current government has its own mining policies, which in one or the other is to address issues like those challenges my brothers are raising on air. Where were they when the policy reform process started? What is their intake in the current policy economy?
Okay.
And they must take advantage when a government changes. Right now, we are going towards the 2026 general election. Some of those issues, they should make them campaign issues and electoral issues. So that through those representatives, those issues can be tabled in parliament and so on and so forth. What is their take in the current policy and what are their plans come this 2026 general election?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll get to Mr. Mwaba first because he's the one who's far away, joining us via WhatsApp. Mr. Mwaba, did you hear that question?
Yes, Kunguso, I did, and I don't know if I may respond.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I've gotten the concerns that Mr. Msonda has raised, and we can categorically state that we've been very active in terms of participating in the mining policy. All these suggestions and submissions that we are making are things that we have submitted before at every forum, okay, where we have said if we want to see the benefit in the mining sector, the following things must be said and done. And even Mr. Zulu, I think, who concur with me, at one point I met him, we engaged, and we also made a submission collectively. We've been...
Okay. So that's the badness with some technology when we... Okay, so he's still there. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, so the association and ZAM, we are actively engaging government. And I can tell you that the things that we are highlighting are things we have noticed. Now, the biggest challenge that we have in Zambia, I will tell you for free, it's the fact that are we willing to have a strategy for 10 years, 15 years? Because these guys that we are looking up to now, or even all these OEMs that we are talking about today, they had a strategic focus. Can we set up an industry for the next 25 years and be sustainable without it being bruised by political pressures and so on and so forth? So we need, as a country, to move to a space where industry are left to operate independent of politics. If we want to see achievements, especially in the mining sector.
Is it possible, really? Is it possible because policies are made by government with other stakeholders? How do we?
It's possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you see, what I'm trying to say is, when, for example, the investor comes and they sign these development agreements, they sign for how long? They sign for 10 years. They sign for 15 years.
Okay.
And certain things will be enshrined, and those variables will remain unchanged. It doesn't matter the successful governments. We have got mines here that have been in Zambia for the past 20 years. Okay, they have enjoyed the same incentives and benefits. So even now, if we are saying we want to, for example, to raise a bar in terms of manufacturing, the off-taker will be the mining sector. So do we have the mines that can buy into, for example, mill boards or boards? We say specific boards, 3 millimeter and so on, of this diameter will be manufactured in Zambia, and the off-taker will be Mopani, KCM, and they are pledging $1 million each. Because all these institutions that we are seeing, that is what happened. And the government also says, I'm going to get a stake. We have a challenge in the energy sector. What are the challenges that the institutions that want to invest in the mining sector are facing? It's a policy. They are finding that it's difficult for them to even supply power in the national grid because there are some restrictive policies or laws that empowers only ZESCO. Okay. So until those bottlenecks are removed. So even in the mining sector, it's the same thing. We need to have policy consistency, number one. And then two, we need to recognize the fact that these investments must benefit the Zambian citizens first. So whatever negotiations that we are doing, at the center of all this is to ensure there is value addition, number one. Number two, that there is beneficiation. Like Tier 1 copper belt, for example, in Kitwe, where Mopani is, we must ensure there is a deliberate strategy to ensure that the mines that are operating in respective towns, the ones that are around those mines benefit before Tier 2 and so on and so forth.
Okay. So talking about please wrap up on that point. You can go ahead.
Okay. So even when these strategic contractors are coming, they should be told, we will not allow you to go and take 20 good pieces of equipment and start being a contractor on the mines without you partnered with a local person.
All right.
That way, we will see the benefit going forward.
Okay, let me pick another call on 0770347221. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you, sir?
I am okay. Yeah, you are talking to Alex Siamukuku, popularly known as Afrandan Siamukuku, from Kitwe.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Mwaba, I'm sure you are okay. Yeah, my sister, yeah, some things are very, very difficult to articulate on it. Mining, when we talk of mining, I think not to miss something from the beginning. Why I'm saying so. Mining, abantu abaleta benefit mining are very, very few individuals. Marasanga, ababara appointed as a minister from Wakaunda's time up to date. Eba chitafe benefit mine. Nabandi bari closer. Eba rari apo not the 20 million Zambian people. No, they are benefiting nothing. I can talk of this gold mining. Mufumbwe. Ama Zambians, instead of Abapangire Funderi Aranda, okay, what we are going to do...
Okay, so we are talking basically on the supplying and of course we also are touching on mine suppliers and contractors, not generally the operations or who owns the mines in Zambia today.
Same problem, my sister. There are same problem. The people coming from outside the country, they benefit more.
Okay.
Ask Zambian. Zambian are neglected.
Okay.
That's what I can say.
All right.
Zambian are neglected at all.
So this goes also when it comes to being given contracts in mines. Is that what you're saying?
It's same.
Okay.
Justice.
All right.
They are same, my sister. Same.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I think that is what has been established, but through this conversation, we've actually been painted a picture that is currently obtaining on the ground regarding what the mine suppliers and contractors in Zambia are grappling with, or the challenges that they are faced with. Let me again pick another call. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, madam. Is Radio 2, right?
Yes, this is Radio 2.
I'm Samson Obita calling from Obama.
Please go ahead.
Yes, just want to say something on what the Honorable is saying.
Okay. We have Mr. Costa Mwaba from the Association of Mine Suppliers and Contractors, and we also have a representative, Mr. Zulu, from the Zambia Association of Manufacturers.
Okay, to what Mr. Mwaba was saying, I got him saying about something like when Zambian is supplying, the conditions are different to some foreign. That is the clear picture of corruption which is happening. Why can such things happen, or there are people appointed to control things so that each and every Zambian should benefit? Then when they go there, they just review their businesses and forget about us. Not so. It's what I wanted to contribute.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling. He's picked up that point, and I'll allow Mr. Mwaba to come in. But first, let's get to Mr. Zulu. Just in a minute, just your overall comments on the calls that we've received.
Thank you. I'll actually match all the calls together. So there's Mr. Gershom, Mr. Alex, and Mr. Samson who have made submissions. Mr. Gershom's question was clear to say, what is your take in mining policy? For us, I think major policy with regards to mining that we have been a strong advocate for has been the mining local content policy. So local content policies is something that we have been crying year in, year out with little to no movement. Just recently, we hosted a mining local content conference in Ndola where we had the Minister of Mines and Mineral Development mention that a policy that's going to support local content will be finalized by quarter 2. We are now in quarter 3. We still don't have anything yet. So we have been a huge advocate together with the Association of Mine Suppliers and Contractors and the Zambia Chamber of Commerce. We have been highly advocating for a local content policy that is going to see to it that Zambian suppliers, contractors, and the Zambians themselves do get preference in all procurement when it comes to the mining sector.
Okay. All right. Would you also kindly answer to some of the issues raised by the two callers? I know I was hurrying you up because we are almost running out of time. But of course, we had another concern from a caller saying Zambians are clearly not benefiting or getting the full benefits from the mines vis-a-vis supplying to the big mines. And the other one just said that there are unfair practices, according to what we've heard on the program from the both of you. That's you from ZAM as well as Mr. Mwaba.
Yes, that is true. So Mr. Alex said we must have missed something along the way. And for us, what we could say is that what we missed is a local content policy that has teeth. So our current local content regulations, they only give preference, like they have vague laws that just say give preference to local suppliers and contractors, but there's no
they don't
teeth
compel.
There. Yes, so the law, it should have clear procurement quotas for local mines to publish their procurement plans a year in advance, so that as the local manufacturers and suppliers can prepare, and it should also include, and this is we should place real emphasis on, include real penalties for non-compliance with that local content policy. So this is also going to answer to the corruption issue which Mr. Samson Muita raised. If we have preference of local suppliers, we won't have to worry about the OEMs getting higher preferences as compared to the local manufacturers, because then it's mandated by a law, an act, to say you are supposed to give preference in such areas with such entities to local manufacturers, contractors, suppliers.
Okay. All right. I know I'm rushing you, but we have mining news coming up as well as the quiz. Look out for that and be part of the quiz that's coming up as we wrap up the program. But let me get to Mr. Mwaba. We are talking about the mines allegedly, because I'm not in the space, but according to my guests, they prefer top-tier contractors and suppliers of goods and services for several reasons. Do we have Zambians that have long-standing contracts with the mines? How many are they? Is it enough? And do we have any Zambians that is obviously a top-tier contractor as well? Mr. Mwaba.
No, we do not have Kumbuso. And for the reasons that I'm going to list, okay, number one, our law at PACRA states that anyone can walk into Zambia, makes a company or registers a company, provided they have a Zambian as a director, not even as a shareholder. So we have these companies, because remember in our law, it says you shall give preference to services and agencies located in Zambia. So these multinationals will come into Zambia, incorporate a company, because they're allowed by law, and they have a Zambian as a director, whom they will pay whether 5,000 kwacha or 25,000 kwacha, or whom they may just use to register, and that's all. Then it will be 100% foreign owned. They will walk into the mines and begin to get business. So that is the number one challenge that we have. So we need to address that at PACRA. We say you can only have 50% or whatever percentage it is when you want to incorporate a business. Then number two, these mine owners, they have a tendency of saying Zambians have no capacity and so on and so forth. So because of that, and the government to agree
do we
that
have
yes,
the capacity
Zambians have no
before we even get...
Yes, capacity is relative. We know if I come to you, I say, Kumbuso, I have the technical know-how. Can I do the work for you? And you say, okay, I'm going to give you 10 years to do this work. Tell me why I would fail to mobilize $10 million or $20 million if the contract is for 10 years. You want me to mobilize $10 million for a contract of 1 year, 6 months. Does that make sense? these are the situations we have when we talk about capacity. The mines will go tell a Zambian contractor to say, I'm giving you a job for 24 months, and you need to bring 2 dump trucks, 2 rigs for digging, and 2 loaders. Now, these pieces of equipment, just on average, they would cost you $6 million. So how will you recover $6 million just in 24 months? And even the lease will go to 36 months. Now, because your contract is 24 months, they will tell you, I can't give you a lease for 36 months. What is going to happen to the other period? So they will make sure that they compress all that and you pay in 24 months, which is not reality.
Okay.
So you find that Zambian contractors fail to deliver on the contract, fail to deliver on the repayments, and they end up in the debt trap. And then we say, I gave company X a contract, he failed, company Y failed, and all that. And then we take that as a blanket statement without really analyzing the input into the failure. So what are we saying as an association? An association, we have changed the strategy. Number 1, the local content must become law. Number 2, we don't just want to be complaining. We want to move forward to be a solution provider. Then number 3, with courage as a nation. Because these things that you are talking about, mind you, we are dealing with people who have been doing business for a very long time, and they will not let go. So what we need is courage in terms of negotiating. You can't negotiate laughing. They will tell you a sweet talk and you won't get it. The year will end.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mwaba, we are almost coming to the end of the program, but of course, stay online for us. We'll get your closing remarks. I know there are many issues that you would want to talk about, but we'll see if in your closing remarks you can actually just incorporate all your last remarks. Let me quickly get to Mr. Zulu from ZAM, that's the Zambia Association of Manufacturers. Let's talk about competitiveness in the mining industry, and where, of course, Zambian manufacturers can fit in and become more competitive suppliers to the mining industry. What kind of support are we talking about here, really? What kind of support do they need?
Okay, one of which, one I have already highlighted, which is a local content law.
Okay.
This is non-negotiable. And like I already mentioned, it should have teeth, not just a policy paper that does not empower the Zambian people or deliver real development to the Zambian people. Another thing that can help us be more competitive is to help build the capacity of different local suppliers. So having intentional supplier development programs, then this can help ensure that if the mine has identified a supplier that has potential but isn't quite right there yet, the mine can have a deliberate way of incentivizing these members to enroll in different supply development programs, which are championed by the mines themselves.
Okay.
And then there's also the aspect of access to affordable finance. So this support is needed in the way that we need government and financial institutions to create dedicated low interest funding that helps manufacturers that are providing services and products to the mining sector. And this can be critically enforced by having fair payment terms from the mine's end to ensure that the cash flow issues that manufacturers can face are properly accounted for. And then also the policy that I had earlier mentioned should account for pricing preferences and a pricing preference margin that gives a competitive edge to local suppliers. And lastly, the one which I also tackled was the aspect of transparency and accountability. So we would like to see that the mines should be required to publish their annual procurement plans well in advance. This will provide us with the knowledge that we're going to need for us to see where can we tap into, what opportunities exist there that we, the local manufacturers, have the capacity to undertake.
Right.
So the procurement plans should be made public. This makes it easily predictable, fair, and it makes it just a truly Zambia supply chain.
All right. Finally, Mr. Mwaba, so someone might be saying, so we want more mine suppliers to be given more contracts or more local businesses to be empowered and be given the bulk or a fair share of businesses from the mine. What, very quickly, the benefits of what do we really see change our economy if this is done?
Okay, so basically, when we are saying local, and locals are empowered, number 1, employment. Other sectors like construction will obviously go up. farming will definitely go up. Then contribution of real taxes to the national basket will obviously go up, because these Zambian contractors and suppliers, if they are given jobs, they are going to buy locally, they are going to construct locally, they are going to go to schools locally, they are going to support communities here where they are found. And the benefit cannot be overstated. And that should be the way. If we want to talk about these issues of exchange rates, one of the ways we can address these is to ensure that we become part and parcel. Can you imagine that business of $4 billion, even 50% of it going to Zambians, which is $2 billion being spent and staying in Zambia, not being paid to companies that are locally registered but foreign composition. You pay them today, all the money goes to a foreign nation. $2 billion goes out. And what comes back is money for salaries, maybe of $1 million. Now, if we empowered local suppliers and contractors, the money will be staying here. We will see activities here. And that way, the government will relax.
Okay.
Because right now, we make pronouncements, but the reality is that we don't see such amounts locally here.
All right. Well, Mr. Mwaba, thank you so much for joining us and being part of the show today. Thank you for coming through, for joining us via WhatsApp.
Thank you.
All right. We also had Mr. Richard Zulu, Communication, Marketing and Public Relations Lead, Zambia Association of Manufacturers. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having us.
All right. So this has been our interview, the main interview. We still have, of course, mining news coming up shortly. Do stay tuned.
You're listening to Mining Corner, brought to you by ZCCM Investments Holdings PLC, your partner in Zambia's mining and energy sectors. Join us every Thursday at 12:10 hours on ZMBC Radio 2 as we explore the latest developments, trends, and innovations shaping the mining and energy industries. Tune in and join the conversation on Mining Corner for in-depth analysis, interviews with industry leaders, and discussions on the future of mining in Zambia. Stay informed, stay ahead. ZCCMI Edge. Investing smartly.
Local stories. The Copperbelt Energy aims to expand its solar capacity threefold to 300 megawatts by 2027 to help Zambia combat power shortages caused by severe droughts, which have slashed hydropower generation by nearly 80%. Currently, CEC operates 98 megawatts of solar PV in Kitwe, with an additional 136 megawatts expected from the Itimpi-2 project once it's commissioned. ZCCM Investment Holdings, through its subsidiary Zambia Gold Company, has aggregated 14 kg of gold worth over 33 million kwacha in the past 3 months. ZCCMIH Corporate Affairs Manager Lois Sambata said this growth from an initial 9 kg has been driven by strong participation from artisanal miners selling gold directly to Zambia Gold Company. Small Scale Miners Association of Zambia Acting President Kelvin Tembo is urging the Ministry of Mines to expedite the formalization of small-scale mining activities in Zambia, particularly in Mufumbwe, where the sector is plagued by challenges. Mr. Tembo says poor handling is harming the sector's reputation and safety. In international stories, DRC Gold Trading SA has processed over 280 kg of artisanal gold worth $20 million between March and May 2025, injecting $27 million into Maniema's economy. This operation marks a turning point for Maniema's economy, which has long been dominated by informal and unregulated gold trading. And lastly, the court-appointed administrator of Barrick Mining's Luolo Gonkoto Gold Complex in Mali plans to sell 1 metric tons of gold worth about $107 million fund restarting operations. The mine, a key asset producing 15% of Barrick's output before its suspension in January, has been in
All right, we are coming to the end of the program, but before we wrap up, we have the quiz, of course, that comes at the end of the program. We have 2 questions today. Give it a go. Call us on 0770347221, and you'll be able to walk away with some very interesting prizes, compliments of ZCCM-IH. The number is 0770347221. That is the number that you are using. Just 2 questions. And of course, if you paid attention to today's program, you'll be able to get these questions. They are quite simple, in my opinion. So the number is 0770347221. Still waiting on that call. But of course, we'll just give it another minute before we wrap up the program. And the number is, can you attempt today's quiz on Mining Corner? This is Mining Corner on Radio 2. The number is 0770347221 for the number that you're using. That's the number that you're using to be part of the quiz, which is the last segment on our show. Let's see if we can get someone on the line. I'll give it another 30 seconds before we close the program. The number once again is 0770347221. Remember, today on Mining Corner, we had a very interesting topic. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay. All right. So today on Mining Corner, we had a very interesting discussion where we had Mr. Costa Mwaba, President of the Association of Mine Suppliers and Contractors in Zambia, as well as Richard Zulu, Communication, Marketing and Public Relations Lead from the Zambia Association of Manufacturing. We're looking at supply chain in Zambia's mining sector. Let's give it one last try. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Who do we have on the line?
Taulo, all the way from Changobo.
Very quickly, Mr. You said Taulo?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Taulo, are you ready for the quiz?
Yes.
Okay. How much gold has ZCCM-IH's subsidiary, Zambia Gold Company, aggregated in the past 3 months? All right, we've lost that one and we've run out of time. Thank you so much for those that tuned in. Remember to join us next week at the same time. My name is Kumbuso Banda. Good afternoon.
Get ready to dig deep into the world of mining and energy on the Mining Corner program right here on ZNBC Radio 2. Brought to you by ZCCM Investment Holding PLC, an investment holding company with a strong footprint in Zambia's mining and energy sectors. With commodities from copper, gold, and manganese to energy and other industrial minerals. Join experts as they explore the latest trends, innovations, and insights in the mining industry, from exploration, production to value addition. We will cover it all. Mining Corner is your platform to learn, engage, and stay informed. We will bring you closer to what matters in mining and energy, both